take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us live on NTV. This is the third National Road Safety Summit coming to you live from the Kampala Serena Hotel. My name is Ben Mwine. In the previous past, in the last 2 years, we have had the National Road Safety Summit focusing on first accountability and then action, and this year we pivot towards making sure that we can create a stand against irresponsible road use. Over the last weekend, I had the privilege of traveling to and from Fort Portal, and unfortunately, during that trip, we came across a minimum of 8 TRAs, as our friends from the police call them, or traffic road accidents. 3 of them we observed live. 1 of them fatal. That means that someone died. Because we were in a bus, one of the ones that we saw was clearly an act of very irresponsible road use on the part of one of the drivers. And the question is, what can we do to make sure that that reduces or stops? Over the course of this morning, you will get to interact and hear from some of the most important people in the roles against irresponsible road use to make sure we have good safety. And on behalf of Vivo Energy, I want to welcome you to this summit, which is part of the Road Safety Week 2020, and we're doing this in partnership with some very special people at the Ministry of Works and Transport, the Uganda Red Cross, the Uganda Insurance Association, NTV of course, as well as the Uganda Police Force. As we get started, I would like to invite our host for this morning, the Managing Director at Vivo Energy Uganda, Mr. Joubert Assi, to come and make his remarks. You're welcome.
Our guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Works and Transport, General Edward Katumba Wamala, the Director of Traffic and Road Safety, Uganda Police, IGP Basil Mugisha, the MD of NTV, Mr. Johnson Omoro, the Secretary General, Uganda Red Cross Society, I think he's not yet in the room. Leaders and members of our partners, NTV Uganda, Uganda Insurance Association, Uganda Police Force, and Uganda Red Cross Society, our development partners, and fellow key stakeholders in road safety who are present this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, all protocol observed, good morning. Vivo Energy Uganda, the company that distributes and markets Shell-branded fuels and lubricants, together with our partners, Ministry of Works and Transport, NTV Uganda, Uganda Insurance Association, the Uganda Police, and Uganda Red Cross Society, have the honor and pleasure of hosting you all once again at the 3rd National Road Safety Summit. The summit is one of the various stakeholder engagements that have been organized as the Ministry of Works and Transport marks the 2020 National Road Safety Week. And we are pleased to lend our support to the important objective of promoting road safety for prosperity, which is the theme of this year's National Road Safety Week. This week, Vivo Energy Uganda will also hold a one-day workshop in defensive driving techniques to upskill over 80 drivers selected from various ministries, departments, and agencies by the Ministry of Works and Transport. We envision that the beneficiaries shall share best practice drawn from the training with their peers to further improve the experience on the roads. The previous summits that we organized in 2019 were themed Road Safety, Time for Action, while the 2018 summit was themed Road Safety, Time for Accountability. As you are already aware, the theme for this year's summit is Road Safety, Create a Stand Against Irresponsible Road Use. Today, together with our support and commitment, we seek to encourage everybody to personalize the fight against the common vice of wrong road behaviors, which is known as the leading cause of road accidents. That is irresponsible road use, or simply put, human error. This is because we believe that road safety is a shared objective. Furthermore, we call upon every single road user to participate in the fight against irresponsible road use. By speaking out against irresponsible road users, we call upon all Ugandans to similarly pledge to use the roads responsibly. According to the World Health Organization, human error is the leading cause of most road accidents. The key risk factors include drinking and driving, inexperience in operating vehicles, speeding, and also failing to use helmets, seat belts, and child restraints. It is therefore clear that the need for continuous engagement with various road users is important to reduce the worrying statistics of the carnage on our roads. Even with commendable strides and initiatives that have been made by yourselves as key stakeholders, we need to remind ourselves that road safety is every person's responsibility. Our intention is for each participant at this summit to encourage all Ugandans to adopt safer road use as an action point by which they will contribute to reduction of death on our roads and prosperity for all through the improved road infrastructure that the government has implemented. At Vivo Energy, we have invested heavily in road safety over time to ensure good performance by our own drivers, but also by the drivers in the community. And we are hereby inspired to share all our learnings with our community through our corporate social responsibility initiatives. We were pleased to respond to the call by the Parliamentary Committee on Physical Infrastructure during consultations with the private sector last year to share recommendations for the amendment of the Traffic and Road Safety Act 1998, which was acted now in 2020. We are particularly pleased that the Act is now followed as the law, and we hope that this tackles and improves our road safety record in the country. What we continue to do as a company, first internally, what are we doing? We invest in regular defensive driving training and fitness to work, fitness to drive for our drivers annually, and we refresh their safety skills while they are on the roads. We observe driving behavior of our truck drivers in real time using onboard computers and in-cab cameras that are installed in every truck that transports our products. As a result, at our recent annual safety celebrations, we announced that our drivers achieved a record 56 million kilometers driven without a lost time incident. What are we doing externally as part of our corporate social responsibility? We do have regular defensive driving training and defensive riding training of border riders with Safe Border and other similar border associations. We do annually training for bus drivers and taxi drivers. And we launched recently regional defensive driving training with taxi drivers and bus drivers in West Nile. That was last week. And this will be rolled out to various regions of the country to expand our reach and share our knowledge. We also have what we call our Heads Up program. Heads Up is a school's road safety initiative that seeks to highlight the plight of school children who commute to school on borders. We provide the school children in over 15 public schools with child-specific helmets to ensure that their safety on the road is assured. And you all may know Twedeco. We've been watching some of the video this morning. Twedeco is our partnership with NTV Uganda that brings to your TVs a social awareness initiative that educates Ugandan road users about road safety and inspires behavioral change on our roads. Twedeco continues to effectively relay the message about road safety in Uganda and beyond. And you know that Twedeco has also a practical and on-ground component, which is the Twedeco Caravan, which unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we've not been able to have this year. But as soon as the SOPs allow, we shall go back to the road and engage road users in their environment and bring to them the message of right behaviors, right road use, responsible road use. And we make sure that that continues to come year on year. We also have our school's road safety education program. And when schools resume, we shall continue to train pupils as road safety ambassadors to champion road safety with their peers. We focus on children as future drivers to inculcate in them a culture of road safety at a young age. We all know that children can also be very effective in influencing their parents, and we would like to win them over first as a way to also reach their parents. We believe that out of all these efforts, a movement of road users that believe in the value of safe road use and practice its principle every time they are behind the wheel or on the road will be the way forward and will increase in the country. We also believe that more can be done. While we continue our road safety investment in our community, we found it fit to provide special focus on road safety decision makers and key stakeholders. This is the reason why we are here today, and ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate and acknowledge your attendance. We are looking forward to useful deliberations and again extend the call for personal responsibility to us all to own up to safer road use in our various capacities and in our communities to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals target, which is to halve road traffic deaths and serious injuries by 2030 in Uganda. We count on all of you to make that pledge, and we will be there to provide our support. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gilbert Assi, Managing Director at Vivo Energy Uganda. One of the reasons why we have our theme this year as creating a stand against irresponsible road use is because irresponsible road use usually affects a lot more than the irresponsible road user. Unfortunately, oftentimes it's innocent people who lose their lives or get maimed or things like that simply because someone made a poor decision or couldn't wait 5 seconds. That's all it takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And everything would have been okay. But because the person doesn't wait 5 seconds, they decide to overtake in a corner and kill 20 people. That's how bad it is. 20 Call has been going for about 3, going on to 4 years now. And the reason we say every life matters is because every life does matter. Also, unfortunately, every year we lose quite a number of lives to road accidents. And the Uganda Police Force this morning will be presenting to you the National Road Safety Report. Afande Mujisha will be coming to do that a little bit later on. And it will be interesting for you to take note of just how serious irresponsible road use is in Uganda and what damage it is causing to us as a country. That's something for you to look out for. For now, I'd like to invite the Undersecretary at the Ministry of Works and Transport, who is representing the Permanent Secretary, and then she will come and invite the Honorable Minister as well. Please welcome Madame Josephine Waseke Onya as she comes to the stage.
The Honorable Minister of Works and Transport, the representative of the Inspector General of Police, executive directors of government agencies, the Managing Director, Vivo Energy, the Managing Director, NTV, Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Insurers Association, members of the civil society organizations and NGOs, senior government officials, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. As you've been told, I'm Josephine Wasike Onya, Undersecretary, Minister of Works and Transport, but I'm here to represent the PS, Minister of Works and Transport, Mr. Bageya Waiswa, who is supposed to be here, but because of other state duties, he was not able to come. So he has given me his written remarks, which he asked me to come and present here. Allow me, Honorable Minister, to read the remarks of the PS as follows. It gives me great pleasure to be at the 3rd Road Safety Summit 2020 under the theme, Road Safety, Creating Stand Against Irresponsible Road Use. I wish to commend Vivo Energy Uganda and NTV for this initiative of cooperation and collaboration with the Ministry in road safety matters, especially on influencing road user behavior. As you may be aware, the major cause of road traffic crashes in Uganda is human error, contributing to over 80% of all road crashes. This is characterized by reckless driving, overspeeding, overloading, dangerous loading, driving under the influence of alcohol, careless pedestrians, dazzled lights, distracted driving like use of mobile phones while driving, non-use of seat belts, and crash helmets. among others. According to the 2019 annual police report, 43% of all crashes were as a result of careless driving, therefore creating a stand against irresponsible road use will go a long way in addressing road carnage in Uganda. Each life saved and each serious injury avoided reduces the pain and suffering and achieves important economic savings. Traffic safety is a prerequisite for mobility, and therefore every citizen has the right to life and health while using the road. However, road traffic crashes in Uganda have eroded this important right. The cumulative cost of road traffic crashes to Uganda in terms of productive human resources, loss and damage to material resources, including vehicle, personal and national medical expenses, legal and other costs, is excessively huge, and it continues to rise. Distinguished participants, the greatest potential for reducing road traffic crashes lies in influencing road users to act more responsibly. It is very important that all road users understand their obligations by obeying the rules of the road and giving consideration to others. We share the road and we have a responsibility to each other to make the road safe. Even when one has the right of way, it is essential to yield in the interests of safety. Ladies and gentlemen, road crashes are preventable and can be avoided. To achieve this, it demands change of behavior. Issues like speeding, use of seat belts, drinking and driving, disregard of traffic laws, use of mobile phones, carelessness, and fatigue along journeys must be addressed. Improving road safety is ultimately a joint effort, not only for government, but all road users. The ministry commits to strengthen partnership with various stakeholders, both private and public, in order to bring sanity on our roads. We shall also continue to benchmark and learn from the best practices so as to continually make Uganda roads safer and secure. As I conclude, let me take the pleasure to salute the Uganda Police Force, specifically the Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety, for the role they play despite the circumstances in ensuring safety on our roads. We thank you so much. Without their commitment in enforcing the road traffic laws and regulations, all our efforts to improve the road safety would be fruitless. Once again, I wish to thank the organizers of this summit and other stakeholders for their commitment and continued support in ensuring safety on the roads. At this juncture, it's my honor and pleasure to, on behalf of the PS Minister of Works and Transport, to invite the Honorable Minister of Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, to come and address the participants. Honorable Minister, you're welcome.
Permanent Secretary, Minister of Works and Transport, representative of the Inspector General of Police, executive directors of government agencies, Managing Director, Vivo Energy, Managing Director, NTV, Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Insurers Association, senior government officials present, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to officiate at the 3rd National Road Safety Summit. Allow me in a special way to thank Vivo Energy Uganda for their commitment to support the summit. Vivo Energy, thank you. I also want to thank their partners, NTV and Uganda Insurers Association, for joining Vivo in these efforts. One life saved is worth the effort. Vivo Energy Uganda, NTV, and Uganda Insurers Association over the years have continued to be our most visible and reliable partners who have made a big contribution and actively engaged in road safety promotion in the country. We don't take you for granted. We thank you very much, and we encourage you to continue with that partnership. But also, this is for a good cause, because I think you need live customers. Their clients must be alive. Otherwise, if you don't have alive clients, you will not be able to market your product. So it is worth investing in the effort. Through the TradeCo campaign that has been running since 2017, this awareness campaign has touched many hearts and influenced road user behavior through real-life stories from victims which are aired on NTV. Those stories may look small as they are, but the messages are very, very impactful, especially where people tell the bad experiences they go through after a road accident. And I wish they could be amplified, especially as we go into the festive season. In Uganda, road traffic crashes or accidents have imposed a very heavy burden on the economy through premature loss of lives. Of course, some of these people who die are taxpayers. Some of them would be running very big businesses and all that. And when you lose such a person, definitely it means there's a loss to the economy. It also creates remedial expenditure on medical care for victims, loss of income and other output, either permanently through death, permanent or temporary disability through injury, reduced quality of life for those injured, either temporarily or permanently, loss of livelihood by the dependents, damage and loss of property, repair and replacement of the accident vehicles. All these are very expensive, not only to the affected person, but also to government. I remember during the lockdown, people said that ward in Mulago, the accident ward, was empty because there were very few boarders on the roads and all that, and there were minimal accidents. It was not the best time, but I think it tells that really we all need to be very careful and be able to preserve our lives one way or the other. The physiological and or emotional stress of family members, pain, grief and suffering of the surviving dependents is unbearable. Many times, some of these victims, accident victims, have families of 5 to 6 children, very young, and somebody's life can just be brought to a standstill by loss of either the father or the mother in an accident. And that spells doom to the life of that individual. Research shows that many families affected by road accidents leave orphans, widows, and dependents whose quality of life deteriorates remarkably, and some degenerate into abject poverty, school dropouts, and all that. And that, of course, takes a toll on their lives. Uganda's transport system is faced with the challenge of a rapid increase in number of motor vehicles, including motorcycles. And this is every year the numbers are on the rise. This growth therefore demands for safe, orderly and quality services and the carriage of goods, services and passengers. However, the increase in motorization has resulted into a significant increase in road traffic accidents. I think the police will be giving us statistics later on, and you'll be amazed to see what is happening on our roads. Motorcycles, which are boda-bodas, have provided alternative flexible means of transport and employment opportunities to the youth. However, the behavior of the riders on the roads still leaves a lot to be desired. It is one of the biggest problems. If you want to see how dangerously these people move, try to be on Kampala-Jinja Road between the railway station and Kitugum House and that crossing there. And you see how they ride on the shoulders, how they go out off the road and go on the pavements where the pedestrians are supposed to be walking, and in numbers, without due regard to any other road user. One bus driver told a story. He said, if I'm a bus driver having 60 people in the bus, and you a boda rider with 1 or 2 people roughly crosses in front of me, should I decide to throw the bus of 60 or crash you, the 1 or 2 people? You can imagine, and this is because of bad road use. Simply because that boda rider cannot take the 5 seconds, somebody talked about the 5 seconds, the 5 seconds of patience that you can make this bus driver really make a decision whether to crash the bus with 60 people or to just do away with a boda man and 2 people on his cycle. So there is need for people really to understand that life is not reversible. If you lose it, you have lost it, and we should all take care. So the boda riders who are listening to me and who are seeing me, I think you need to get to be more careful even with your lives than anybody else on the road, because I think the distance between you and the tarmac is not very big. Once you leave that bike, you're already crashing on the road. So ladies and gentlemen, road transport of recent has become a dangerous mode of transport. Unlike other modes, road transport, because of traffic mix, where you have pedestrians, pedocyclists, vehicles, animals, even in our cities. Sometimes you find cows crossing the road, even goats trying to cross. But the goats have mastered the way of crossing the road. I've never seen a goat knocked. I see people being knocked on the road, but goats are never knocked. They know how to maneuver through the traffic. So with all that, then our road transport is more susceptible to errors within the system. Uganda is part of the UN Road Safety Policy Framework 2021-2030. That's the Stockholm Declaration of February 2020, with a target of 50% reduction of road traffic deaths and serious injuries by 2030. So we should be aiming at that as a nation. And if we can achieve that even before 2030, then it will be a great achievement. And all of us should be partners on this, ensuring that we achieve that target. Therefore, the theme for the summit, road safety, creating a stand against irresponsible road use, resonates well with the Pillar 4 of safe road users of the Decade of Action for Road Safety. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot agree with you more on this year's theme. We have tolerated enough of the irresponsible behavior of some of our motorists. There's a lot of impatience on our roads. Everybody wants to be ahead of everybody. More so the people who use SUV vehicles. I don't know why they usually, maybe I'm also a victim. But we usually think because we have an SUV vehicle, we have the right of way beyond everybody else, that you cannot stay in the line. You should always take a diversion. Sometimes I even pity State Council. They plant the green and we drive on the green. It's terrible. We need really to up our game as Ugandans. We need to be respecting the use of the road. We all know that traffic police cannot be everywhere to stop this. It's too much demanded of the traffic police to be everywhere to stop all this. And I don't understand why Ugandans, we always want to have a policeman breathing behind our neck in order to observe the law. Why? You should be a responsible citizen. We should, all of us, be responsible citizens. Why do you want a traffic officer to be behind you all the time? I think it's not right. We should be able to do what is expected of us. So I really call that NTV and all these media houses that we should revive the campaign of shaming the responsible road users. Somehow it had worked. When somebody sees his vehicle in the papers, somebody throwing bottles out of the vehicle window, some kind of those name and shame images, I think had made an impact. So we should be able to bring them out again, and then we see what impact it makes. Otherwise, everyone should be responsible because she loves and cares about his family and wants them to be safe all the time. If you care about your family, you should care about other people's families. If you want you alive, other people also want their families alive. Therefore, creating a stand against irresponsible road use demands that irresponsible road use characterized by having no regard to other road users. Those are the ones I was referring to. People who think they have the right of way, even when there is the traffic officer is trying to control the traffic, the vehicles are in line, but somebody thinks it's more bigger than anything. He has to go on the side. Reckless driving, like speeding, use of handheld mobile phones, I think this is one thing we have failed to observe. And I don't know how much the police can do. This one is highly, highly abused, the use of mobile phones. Driving under the influence of alcohol, limited use of helmets, etc. All this will require concerted effort from everyone, taking the proper precautions when it comes to driving vehicles or use the road by all means. There is this principle which I normally hear: drive 5 vehicles. Drive yours, pay attention to the one coming from the left, the one from the right, the one from the front, the one from behind. But these days also pay attention to the border because it comes from anywhere. For those ones, they don't come from any direction. So my ministry is committed to working together with various stakeholders, both private and public, as well as non-government organizations, and individuals, with a view that road safety is a shared responsibility. It's not a police responsibility. It's not Viva responsibility because of the TREDECO campaign. It's a shared responsibility. Government is committed to implement a number of interventions to address the irresponsible road users. My ministry initiated, as you have heard from the Managing Director Vivo, the amendment of the Traffic and Road Safety Act 1998, Amended Act of 2020, to strengthen the transport services and road safety. The amended Act prescribes steeper and more deterrent penalties for traffic offenders in order to improve discipline on the roads, especially the drivers. We are in the process of updating the relevant regulations to operationalize the new amended Act. Details of the amended Act will be discussed during panel discussions. If it was not for COVID, we would have gone out aggressively to engage stakeholders, so that by the time we come into implementation of that Act, everybody is in the know of what is implied and what is expected of them. So COVID or no COVID, we think that by January, we'll be able to go aggressively, one way or the other, into educating the public about the amended Act, so that everybody is brought on board and you all understand what is expected of us with the new Act. The Ministry also initiated amendment of the Roads Act 2019 and will continue to improve the road infrastructure. The road designs will consider the needs of vulnerable users, who include pedestrians, cyclists, motorcyclists, who often bear the brunt of the road traffic accidents. I think if you have been observant with the recent developments in the city, the roads which are being made by State Council these days addresses most of that, including cyclist lanes, which they don't use, and also pedestrian walkways. So we will continue doing that, especially in the cities, municipalities, and town councils where there's a more volume of traffic of all kinds. Government, in collaboration with other stakeholders, will strengthen road safety sensitization and awareness campaign addressing the risk factors. And these are the alcohol, speed use, use of elements, use of mobile phones, etc. And I'll call upon partners on this to help us, especially the media houses, to help us to amplify all these campaigns. When we come to you, when we knock on your doors, please understand where we are coming from. And my ministry, in collaboration with Uganda Police, will improve driver training and testing by automating the process they are in. I know that is still a challenge. Our driving schools, we are trying to manage them, to reorganize them, but also the testing. We are soon going to be issuing an international driving permit or driving license, and it would not make a lot of sense to get an international driving license when you don't meet international tested driving lessons. So we are going to automate so that we can eliminate judgment by individuals and decisions by individuals. We are looking for partners. Already we have some indicators of people who are interested in coming up with that very elaborate driver testing, so that we improve on the people on the roads. This will minimize human bias and allowing learner drivers to undergo a rigorous testing to confirm their competency to drive before being issued a driving license. Ladies and gentlemen, my ministry has also embarked on the process of strengthening regulation and licensing of road transport services through upgrading of the existing systems, monitoring, and stepping up enforcement. We shall improve road crash data collection tools and analysis through completion of the rollout of the road crash database system. We cannot forget the role of Uganda Police in influencing road user behavior. We should give them necessary support to step up the enforcement. On that note, I would like also all of you to join me to give a round of applause to the Uganda Police, especially the traffic police, for trying to bring sanity on our roads, irrespective of the challenges. I think the Operation Fika Salama was very good. And as we go into the festive seasons, maybe you could think about refocusing and bring back that operation on our roads. Because as we get into the festive season, plus the active political season, people are throwing to the wind all caution on good behavior on the road. So I think we could refocus and bring back Operation Fika Salama as we get into the festive season, which is just a few days from now. Distinguished participants, the theme of the summit is road safety, creating a stand against irresponsible road use. It calls on each of us to take responsibility and pledge to be responsible road user. One time I had one of my friends came from abroad, and he had a friend in the car, and they reached a T-junction, and he stopped. Then his friend asked him, "Why are you stopping? There's no road, there's no traffic, there's no car coming from here. Why do you have to stop?" Because for him, it's a common practice that you must stop, look left, look right, and then be sure that you can drive on. But for this Ugandan, it was strange that you can stop when there is no sign that another vehicle is coming. Now, that's just a simple thing, just the 5 seconds that this person, could save an accident to happen, because you can't know where somebody is coming. Maybe somebody is rushing a patient at that critical time to the hospital, and you didn't know, you didn't see him coming. So we all need to be responsible road users. And on behalf of my ministry, I pledge to stand against irresponsible road users. Once again, I take this opportunity to thank Vivo Energy Uganda, NTV, and Uganda Insurers Association for their initiative and contribution towards road safety in Uganda, and I'm sure that together we shall make a difference. I also call upon private sector and civil society organizations to join hands to ensure that our roads are safe. I want to thank Vivo for their efforts about taking this effort even to the schools, so that the children, right from the early age, they understand the proper use of the road. I want to thank the organizers of this wonderful summit. I wish the panelists and entire audience fruitful deliberations. It is now my singular honor to officially declare open this Road Safety Summit 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister General Katumba Wamala. I should point out that the Honorable Minister has a distinction of being one of those few people who stays in traffic jam with us down to Bawansi, so I think for that he deserves the hand clap. Even when he doesn't have to, he still does. General Katumba Wamala, there has been a rumor going around that you once had a taxi driver caned for breaking the law. If that is true, we thank you for it and hope that you can keep doing it whenever you can. It should help us a lot. Because we do have a problem, and I'm sure Afande Mujisha and the team from the Uganda Police Force know the headache they have dealing with us stupid drivers on our roads. We do some really silly things, and we hope that we can be able to change that. Isn't it very interesting, the things that normally cause traffic accidents? One of the funniest things that you will encounter on Ugandan roads is how a Ugandan will put on a seatbelt simply because he has seen a traffic police officer. Not because of his own safety, but because he sees a man or woman in white, then he puts on his seatbelt. Surely, who bewitched us? May we learn how to stop being irresponsible road users. It's my honor now to invite one of our key partners, NTV, represented this morning by the Managing Director, Mr. Johnson Omolo, as he comes, and then we will hear from Assistant Inspector General of Police, Basil Mujisha, who will then be coming to present the National Road Safety Report 2019. Mr. Johnson Omolo, MD, NTV.
The Managing Director, Vivo Energy, Director Traffic, Uganda Police, partners in the road safety campaign, Uganda Insurers Association, Uganda Red Cross, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Once again, NTV Uganda is proud to be part of the Road Safety Summit 2020, which is being held under the theme Road Safety, Creating a Stand Against Irresponsible Road Use. As mentioned by the Minister, with road accidents approximately costing Uganda about 2 to 3% of the total GDP every year, interventions by both government and private sector are very critical to ensure we reduce road accidents in the country. Road safety is not just a transport problem, but an economic, health, and social development problem that requires the effective broad partnership of key actors to successfully prevent and control the impact of road accidents in the country. There is a need for more legislative action by Parliament and enforcement of laws and regulation by the transport and regulatory authorities, Uganda police, and the judiciary to save lives of the innocent people who are always victims of accidents on our roads. Over the past 5 years, we have partnered with Vivo Energy, Uganda Police, and the Ministry in promoting road safety, and I assure you that we will continue with this initiative going forward. Cognizant of the fact that the major challenge in road safety achievement is the institutional and organizational structure of the transport industry, we call upon government representatives here to fast-track restructuring of the public transport sector. That remains a key challenge. As a country, public transport needs some semblance of order. We cannot remain disorganized and keep talking year after year about road safety, road safety. For how long will this song go? Police will continue playing their role of enforcement, but it's up to the motorists to also cooperate on this matter. Once again, I thank you all, and I wish you good deliberations in this summit. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we are optimistic that the fatalities may have gone down. With the lockdowns that we've seen in the country under the mighty NRM government, we are hopeful that the number of accidents in 2020 could be much less than the previous years. But I will leave that Uganda Police to enlighten us. I thank you, and I wish you good deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Omolo, Managing Director at NTV, one of our key partners. In case you've just joined us, you're watching NTV online on YouTube. You can follow us there as well. Please don't forget to use our hashtag. Our hashtag is I Stand for Safer Road Use. That is hashtag I Stand for Safer Road Use. Of course, our other hashtag is hashtag Twedeco. Don't forget to include that. This is a third National Road Safety Summit as we get to find out the important things that regard us in terms of being safe on our roads, and our theme for this year is creating a stand against irresponsible road use. So if you have been an irresponsible road user, we hope that you can be able to change your ways and change your mind to ensure that we have safety on our roads. How safe or unsafe have our roads been? Well, we're going to find out now as we get the National Road Safety Report for 2019, and that's going to be presented by the Commissioner, Road Safety and Traffic. He is Acting Director at the moment, our very good friend, Afande Basil Mujisha. Please give him a hand clap as he comes to present this report.
Do you have it today? I'm unfortunate that our chief guest has already left. But like we say in the forces, the OC is never away. The individual can be away, but the officer in charge is always around. For that matter, I assume that our Undersecretary, you are stepping in the big shoes. The Managing Director, Vivo Energy,
who is our host, together with the General Manager NTV, our partners, Uganda Insurers Association, Red Cross, transporters here, civil society organizations, our friends in the media, our viewers, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes it is not good to be the having of bad news, because what I'm presenting here is not a joking subject like the other gentleman says. That is misery to mothers, husbands, daughters, sons. But I have the task. I'd like to start by thanking the hosts, Vivo and NTV, and all of you, our partners in this road safety business. I'm presenting the 2019 annual report, of course, just a summary. You know the challenge we have as the police. Those are reported figures, and we try our best with assistance of our partners, Ministry of Works and Transport. We have also partnered with the Makerere School of Public Health to improve on the system of collecting data. General Katumba, before he left, he said that we could revive, he was suggesting that we could revive Fika Salama, but for us in forces, generals don't suggest. A general suggestion is an order. So that one we are not going to negotiate it. We had already discussed with the Uganda Insurers Association. They are going to give us support. We shall be carrying out activities on the major highways. Those of us, and like the Minister of Work, sometimes I forget, I even call Mr. Katsa the engineer, because almost most of the people there are engineers, but some of us did history and other related subject. There was one German chancellor who said that the great question of the day shall not be solved by conferences and resolutions, but by blood and iron. So that is our task as police. But even when generals are going to apply blood and iron, they carry out a lot of conferences and meetings. So I once again thank our hosts. This is part of the conference and the meetings before we apply blood and iron. Sometimes these are rural motorists. I have liked the theme today. Road safety, create a stand against irresponsible road use. Create a stand. If you are going to create a stand really, you may not do a lot of smiling. Some of you, when we get you on the road and you are not behaving, you wonder where we get the annoyance. But if you are in our shoes, And every morning you get a report that the previous 24 hours you couldn't prevent death of more than 10 Ugandans and more than 35 are seriously injured and admitted. I don't think that creates cause for smiling. That's why sometimes we are very uncompromising and we don't have apologies to make. With those words, can go straight to the figures we are going to look at today. That's what we intend to cover. The figures we have of the calendar year 2019, Inspector General hasn't given me permission yet to give figures for this year. I haven't presented, of course the year hasn't ended, I haven't presented them to him. The report highlights trends in the incidence of severity of road traffic injury and shows the principal factors contributing to road traffic crashes. Those are the accidents we had. I just want to give you a picture compared with the previous year. We had an increase of 6.7% from 2018 to 2019. 2018 we had 3,194 fatal accidents, 6,085 serious accidents. Then 2019 we had 3,407 accidents, and then serious we had 5,992. And of course, those are the number of accidents, but you can find in some accidents you may lose as many as 10 souls. I wanted to highlight the regions. Those are the regions we have. And you can see Kampala Metropolitan Police Area in the red. It is not surprising because sometimes we estimate that as many as 60% of all vehicles in Uganda could be traveling to, from, and through Kampala on any particular day. So those figures are not surprising. I may not go through them region by region, but you can see the next region, Greater Masaka, is following far behind. And you will find like areas like Karamoja where there are not many vehicles, possibly the death and injured are few. Those are our departed souls. 2018 it was 3,689. 2019 we had 3,880, representing a percentage increase of 5.2. Seriously injured 2019 we had 9,635 compared to 9,539. Percentage increase in seriously injured of 1%. Those are the categories of those who died. They are chosen in most cases. The drivers, the figures are not big, but through the efforts of many here, you can see there is a percentage decrease from the dead drivers. In 2019 were 194 2024 compared to 202 in 2018. But you can see those figures in yellow. That's what I wanted to highlight. Because when the extreme column, you can see all other figures almost decreased. Drivers decrease of 4%. Even pedal cyclists, those who ride bicycles, decrease of 15%. Passengers in omnibus, 11%. Passengers in omnibus, 73%. But now come to row number 3, where we have motorcyclists. Increase of 21.2%. I think General Katumba elaborated on the behavior of motorcyclists. You can see the consequences there. And it is not only percentages, but you can see the figures are really big. I think if we are to meet the targets of decade of action, reducing death between 2020 and 2030, that's where our focus should be. Motorcyclists and their passengers, you can see percentage increase of 11.1%. But even pedestrians, there are those who are knocked, because we have not included pedestrians who are knocked by border riders. There is an embedded there, a big percentage of pedestrians killed by borders. Sometimes even these other accidents you are seeing of omnibus, there could be an element of border recklessness. A border will drive badly and bring a whole bus down, and when we go on the scene to investigate, the bus driver will tell you there was a border at the scene who caused the mayhem, but you can't trace him. Sometimes it takes a lot of investigations to establish that actually there was a border who escaped with his life, ending up causing others death. That should be serious injuries. It is not very different from the ones who died. Drivers, you can see those ones who are injured, they are like 3 times the ones who died. That's what the General was talking about, that when a border gets an accident, the distance between him and the tarmac is almost not there. But with the driver, because he's in a car, at least there may be something to protect him or her. He may likely be injured than dying. So, Madam Under Secretary, those people who had kutsindira on inspection of vehicles, I hope we are sorting it out so that the condition of our vehicles, those facilities which were put in place, can do what they are supposed to do, so that even when the driver is errant, him or her and his passengers can be more protected. Next. That's the time when those accidents happen. You can see at night the accidents are reduced, not because people are driving any better, but of course vehicles on the road are few. And you can see the peak is in the evening, when people tend to think that they are delayed, they end up dying or causing death. Next. The MD of FIFA indicated that it is mostly those ones who are behind the wheels who cause problems. You can see it is careless driving, reckless driving, which is mostly responsible for death and injuries on our roads. Careless pedestrian comes next. We don't have KCC here, but we have Ministry of Works, like General Katumba indicated. There is a very big improvement these days when it comes to design of roads. All the roads around Kampala which have been constructed in the last 10 years at least have pedestrian walkways on both sides of the road. At least where they didn't get enough space, at least they provided a walkway on one side of the road. And then the highways which are being constructed these days, at least in cities and municipalities, trading centers, there are pedestrian walkways which are raised. It is not just a matter of avoiding accidents, but it is also stressful when you are using a road as a pedestrian or any other vulnerable person and you feel you are not protected. Me as a person who gets reports of death and injuries every day, when I'm walking on a road where there is no pedestrian facility, the moment I hear a vehicle coming from behind, worse still if it is a boda, I just get off and just watch it first passes, because I'm not very sure that if there's no pedestrian protection that it will not even get me off road. So you can imagine that stress, that you are just enjoying your right to walk and you cannot enjoy the walking. The saying goes that we are all pedestrians, isn't it? And walking is very good for your health. So we would encourage you to walk, but walk safely. Together with our partners, Uganda Revenue Authority, Ministry of Works and Transport, 2 years ago we established the automated express penalty scheme, which has improved on our system of penalizing errant drivers. Some of you used to complain that I'm not the one who was driving this vehicle. I don't know how I happened to get a ticket, but those human errors in the system have been eliminated, and the Ministry of Works and Transport promised us that I think one of the regulations they are working on is to ensure that those tickets go on record against your driving permit, and you keep losing points. At one time you'll find yourself with no right to drive because of your indiscipline on the road. So those are the tickets we have issued. Most of them are on using DMC, but careless and inconsiderate use of the motor vehicle is next, and driving a vehicle without third party. The rest you can see. What are we trying to do, or what have we been doing? We have time and intelligence-led operations targeting enforcement of traffic laws and regulations through established checkpoints throughout the country. We run road safety campaigns with, I think, all our partners who are here. COVID, of course, has somehow interrupted those campaigns, but we use other measures which are a bit COVID safe. Yeah, we are constantly identifying black spots together with our partners in the Ministry of Works and Transport, National Road Authority, Kampala, city authorities, and the various municipalities and towns. That's why you see, like I said before, many pedestrian facilities coming up in place. And several speakers here have already talked about the amended Traffic and the Road Safety Act, which has introduced more punitive measures for errant drivers. I've already talked about the express penalty scheme, and we are working with our partners still the usual suspects in improving crash database. This is a system which will help us in pinpointing exact spots where particular accidents take place. That one will help road designers in pinpointing the exact problematic areas. Otherwise, the system we have been using was territorial, where you just say Kawempe division had so many dead and so many injured, without necessarily pinpointing the problematic places, unless you engage the OC traffic to explain to you. But this one will be automatic, and all those who will be having access to it, like the Ministry of Works and Transport, ourselves, even academia, you can give them user rights, and they see where the exact problems are. I think we are through. You can see how terrible the situation is. I end by requesting you, like we have always done, to give us all the support in carrying out our operations. The media, like my boss General Katumba has, for you, I think he requests, as requested, we resume the system of naming and shaming. Maybe I had forgotten that we have a system which was spearheaded by His Excellency the President of using CCTV cameras. It has improved the situation so much, because we would have many hit and run. But these days, I can assure you, Kampala Metropolitan is covered. We are in areas like Arua, we are in Guru, we are in Mbarara, we are in Kabare. I can tell you, you drive recklessly, we may not get the number plate, but we'll still get you. Actually, these days, when like me, I'm on the road and I see an errant driver, I don't chase. And we have told our people not to chase. You don't need to. He just tell you, go to the OC of the area and you get your ticket. Take yourself there, because you have nowhere to hide. And there is one who attempted to hide. It took us 3 days. Now, if we get you in such a situation, you will not even have a privilege of a ticket. We'll take you to court. And when he was crying, I said, please, systems have changed now. With cameras, if I say, go to the station, report yourself, you go and report. You have nowhere to hide. There's one who parked for 3 weeks. And he thought after 3 weeks would have forgotten. The day he came out, I think he had not gone 1 kilometer from his home. We had got him. So please appeal to our motorists. We are not necessarily bad people, that we enjoy to making you suffer. But if you are putting the lives of our citizens at risk, it is our responsibility to ensure that we handle you and you pay the price. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Afande Mujisha. I can assure you, your cameras instill a lot of fear in us. Every time you pass one, you're thinking, is my belt on? Have I done something wrong? What are they going to check? So they are obviously being very effective. Very interesting statistics to take note of. I hope that you are following those wherever you are. If you've just joined us on NTV, thanks a lot for watching. This is the National Road Safety Summit, the 3rd one that we are doing this year with Vivo Energy in partnership with the Uganda Red Cross, the Uganda Police Force, the Ministry of Works and Transport, Uganda Insurance Association as well, joining us on NTV, of course. So thanks a lot for joining us. Don't forget to use our hashtags. I stand for safer road use. That is hashtag I stand for safer road use, as well as hashtag Twedeco. As we wrap up the session this morning, I'm going to invite some people who are some of the key stakeholders in the fight to ensure that we have safer roads, and of course our theme this year being creating a stand against irresponsible road use. So I'm going to invite some key people that have been helping in this regard to tell us what they are doing and what their plans are. I'll start by inviting our MD at Vivo Energy, Mr. Gilbert C, to please come up onto the platform to join us for this quick panel discussion. The Secretary General of the Uganda Red Cross, Mr. Robert Kwesiga, is with us this morning as well. If you would please join us on the platform, sir. We have someone from the Uganda Insurance Association. I think Juliet Igono is representing Mr. Kavama. If you would please join us, Juliet, as well. And finally, the Commissioner in charge of regulation at the Ministry of Works and Transport, Mr. Winston Katshabe. If you would also please join us on the platform for this quick discussion on our safety summit and the things that we need to do to ensure that we are able to take a stand against irresponsible road use. In the interest of time, I guess I'll just jump into it. I'll start with you, Mr. Gilbert Assi. Don't forget to switch on your microphone in front of you. You had mentioned a little bit about what Vivo Energy is doing to help us make sure we can take a stand. If you don't mind reiterating a couple of those things briefly, what are in your opinion, the key things that Vivo Energy is doing that will help us to be able to take a stand against irresponsible road use going into 2021?
Thank you very much, MC. It's clear that for us, acting to improve road safety is part of our DNA. We value safety because it is about life, it is about prosperity, it is about our fellow citizens. So what we do is threefold. We believe that if we want to change things, we need to act on these three things. The first is to raise the awareness of the people, to make sure that they know the traffic rules, hence our actions regarding training. We have endeavored to train Boda riders, bus drivers, taxi drivers, and we've been doing this in the Kampala metropolitan area, and this year we have decided to take it to the regions. So like I said earlier, we have started in the Arua region last week, and we're going to roll it out to other regions. The second aspect of action is sensitization. We believe that once the people know what they have to do, sometimes they may forget. We need to keep on repeating the message. Hence our activities around the campaigns, Twedeco, Every Life Matters, and also going in the field to meet road users and get the message across to them. The third aspect is enforcement. Because once you have trained the people and you have given them that awareness, that sensitization, you need to make sure that they comply. So how we work in contributing to that is our partnership with Uganda Police and the Directorate of Road Safety and Traffic. So we partner with the police to make sure that we bring them support. We recently paid a courtesy visit to the director to share our views and make sure that we provide them support in terms of what they need to continue to enforce the road traffic laws. In addition to that, we believe that in education we need to also target those who are our future drivers. That's why we are acting a lot on school children. We are giving them training, we are giving them sensitization and responsibilities. We make them road safety ambassadors. And we know that children can so much influence the behaviors of their parents. I remember my own children. There's no way you can be in the car with my children and you don't wear a seatbelt. They will remind you. It's so important. So let's bring our children on board from this early age so that they can be the good drivers of tomorrow. Yeah. There's so much to say, but if you give me the opportunity, I will add on this later.
No, absolutely, and of course the important thing being that this is the discussion that goes way beyond here, and it's something that should be permanently on our minds even as we interact with one another on a regular basis. Let me come to you, Commissioner Katshabe. One of the things that happens a lot in this country is that whenever anything to do with road safety pops up, everyone points the gun at Afande Mugisha and his people at the Uganda Police Force, though they are not necessarily the ones responsible for ensuring that road safety is enforced in Uganda as a country. If you don't mind shedding some light on how the government works in that regard, which departments are responsible for this, how do these things sort of work so that we can ease the burden on the police, because you get the feeling that they get unfairly targeted for a lot of things that happen that are not necessarily their fault.
Okay, thank you, moderator, and good morning, viewers. Just a quick one, in terms of organization for road safety in the country. Of course, it's a rigorous process. It's not a one organization responsibility. Ministry of Works takes the responsibility of ensuring that the laws are in place, the policies responsible for guiding road safety activities in the country. But most importantly, it's a rigorous process, right away from the Constitution, the Uganda Vision 2040, the NDP 3, we have now the draft National and Logistics Policy, we have the National Transport Master Plan. Again, we go into the normal laws. The Traffic and Road Safety Act, which Parliament has just passed as amendment 2020, I would say this would be like software part of it, looking at individual behavior. Then we look at UNRA. UNRA has an act in terms of construction of the roads. We have the ministry, again, has the Roads Act 2019, again, which looks at infrastructure. You've heard the minister this morning talking about the design, provision of walkways, etc., crossing of the traffic crossing and the rest. We have KCCA, it's part of our sector. We have local governments. All these feed within the general framework of road safety. But specifically, when you apply these laws, you'll find they are specific. For example, as we go through the Traffic and Road Safety Amendment 2020, you will see what are we targeting? What exactly are we targeting? Because there are specific areas that we are targeting other than which would be captured, for example, in the Roads Act, the New Act, or KCC Act. So it's a broad range of laws, policies that feed into the general vision of the country to reduce. Again, all these are also anchored under the decade of action. We have regional laws, decade of action under the 5 pillars. Again, at the regional level, as I will be explaining, for example, Basil talked about the driving licenses and the minister talked about the new driving license.
Right.
We shall also be telling you how this feeds into what we call the regional economic communities, SADC, East Africa, and COMESA.
Right.
Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Let me ask to come to Julie, the insurers, because you play a very key role mostly in the aftermath of when things go wrong on the roads. If you don't mind shedding some light, especially on the issue of third party.